Oh, hi there. I'm recording this video to accompany lecture number 5 on sustainability modeling as commentary. And I'm going to be doing these sort of commentary videos for each lecture just to introduce the topic. Today's topic is called models of social interaction. The main purpose here is to extend the discussion that we've started on population dynamics to what happens when we have more than one population and how these populations interact. That's why we call them models of social interaction. In this lecture, we're going to see 3 different models. The first one has to do when 2 populations interact, but one grows at the expense of the other. And this is what's referred in the literature as the classical model for predator-prey dynamics. So one species on the other. What we're going to see is how the coexistence of these 2 species is governed by this predator-prey relationship. So that's that's one model we're going to be seeing. Second model has to do with 2 species interacting. What happens when one of the species gets hit by a catastrophe? Okay, so one species takes a hit in population. How is this dynamic between the 2 populations reestablish itself? And it's useful to understand, what happens when there's a large loss of life in a population group. The third model is actually a 3-stock model, so 3 populations, and it has to do with what happens with one of the populations is infected with a disease and how this epidemic builds on the other populations group to either propagate or actually be mitigated, and what happens. So it's a very interesting interesting lecture overall. One of the things that you'll notice is that the format of the lecture has changed a little bit. We're going to be looking at shorter videos, but more of them, because each of these models has its own video. Then there's a shorter overall lecture video that you can watch, so I'm going to be switching into that format in terms of having shorter videos, but more of them towards in each lecture folder as we progress. So hopefully this will be to your liking. Let's see, what else can I say? I have my notes here, so I'm going to check them very quickly. One of the things that's important and that I wanted to emphasize is that at this point and to this point, we're still looking at what I would call natural dynamics. That means the dynamics of populations or these stocks without external interventions, so no policy interventions, no economic interventions. And I think it is useful to this point, but because we're dealing with sustainability issues, the interesting dynamics are going to arise when we actually make interventions and we can see the impact of these interventions. So we're going to be introducing, starting next lecture, some of these external interventions and see how they affect the dynamics. But at this point, it's useful to understand what happens to multiple populations interacting in the absence of intervention. So that's the focus of this lecture today. This week we're going to be discussing our first assignment. As you recall from our first lecture, you need to prepare a written piece in sort of a blog post format. I'm going to give you this week instructions as to how exactly to do that. And the idea with this blog post is that you focus on a topic on sustainability that you're sort of going to follow up through the semester, because you're going to be doing a term paper with a Venn model or system dynamics model to describe that system, and then you're going to be actually presenting it as your final exam. So what I want to do with the blog post is essentially introduce the topic and also introduce what aspects of that topic you want to address with your model. So that sort of gives you a little bit of focus for that work. So looking forward actually to seeing these blog posts written and reading them. I am very, very pleased with the traffic that I've been seeing on our class discussion page. You guys are posting materials, you're commenting on them. I want to see more of that, but I'm very pleased so far. One thing that I want to do, and I'm actually doing it this week, is that I'm starting to tweet posts on our discussion page that you have made. That means that people that follow me on Twitter are starting to read the posts that you make. And I'm going to encourage you, if you have, such a, if you have a Twitter account, to start tweeting the posts of the page, the class materials, the videos, so we can start building the social community around the class that I sort of presented when we first talked about the class syllabus and the class focus. So this is going to give the classes impact, social impact that we want to create, for sustainability's sake and for the sake of using models to analyze sustainability issues. So we want really that thing to take off, and this is the very first step. But anyway, so let's start tweeting and tweet away on the class discussion page. That's pretty much what I had. So I want you to enjoy the week, enjoy the lectures, and I'll see you in class. Take care now.